All right, we're back. It's your boy JB and Tel, and we are the Gen X Gentlemen. We thank you so much for being with us. Thanks so much for rocking with us. We are trying our best to put this content out a lot quicker than normal. So we appreciate you for being here with us. What's going on, Tel?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing great, my brother. All right, so we're going to do this review, and this review is going to be on this documentary called The Red Pill, and it was done a couple years back. I think it was back in 2017. I'm not sure, but we're going to check this trailer out, and eventually we're going to watch the documentary. But we want to, kind of give you an example of what a person who wound up doing a documentary on men, the plight of men, and she called men her enemy, and she found out that there was a lot more to it than where she thought had the insight to really listen to these men, as opposed to bash them, which a lot of women have done. And she came out with a different point of view. But we're going to take a look at the trailer, and we'll come back on the other side. Okay? Thanks again for joining us. Again, we're Gen X Gentlemen. Please we appreciate you, and if you would, please like and subscribe and hit the bell so that we can be notified when we have other uploads. So let's start the trailer.
1 in 3 American women
and equal rights for women in the United States
have been found guilty of raping a West Virginia teenager.
Misogynist rantings would be at home in the far-reaching internet subculture widely described as the men's rights movement.
Declaring the month of October to be Bash a Violent Month.
I decided to go where no feminist has gone before and meet these men's rights activists.
Men and boys are in crisis, and they need your support because they are human beings too, and you will not shame anybody here into silence about it anymore.
Every society survived based on its ability to train its sons to be disposable.
The U.S. government does not want to send you to die. They'd rather send me to die.
93% of workplace fatalities are men. 4 of 5 suicides.
The family court system truly is biased against men. I mean, there's just no question about it.
How can anybody not be angered by it? But if you start to talk about those issues, people get hostile.
You are f***ing scum.
We're somehow disempowered because we're white men. Maybe it's just because you're pathetic.
The paradigm that most people live by. Men have all the power. Women don't make the same money for the same work. That is feminist training.
Flexibility in roles is where we should be all headed.
So where do the men's movement and feminism disagree?
Is the men's rights movement the gender version of the white nationalist movement?
The men's rights movement is part of the backlash. Grandfather's generation probably had it pretty well, grow up.
She told her friend she's going to trick me into fathering the child.
I called a bunch of domestic violence shelters. Every place said, we don't help men.
When I reported my domestic assault, I did not bring up the fact that I was sexually assaulted. There was no way he was going to believe that I was going to be a victim of sexual assault.
Although evil's the world's from patriarchy, but we're the ones dying, and we die for you guys.
I don't know where I'm headed, what I believe.
This is not flattering to men to talk about men's vulnerabilities.
We're not blaming men. We just named everything bad after them.
I think I agree with everything you said, but there's still some kind of unsettling doubt.
All right. So, what were your thoughts on the trailer, based on what she was, the person at the very end was the creator of the movie, and I think she wrote a book first, and then she actually did this, or she wrote an article, and she did this this movie, or decided to do this movie. So, what are your thoughts on what you just saw, Del?
Looked like to me.
Come closer. Come closer to the. Good.
It looked like to me that, that's showing the feminist movement against men, making men look bad. Schedule a few little interviews here and there, and then it just showed men, showing men defending themselves, speaking on how they're being reacted to. It's not giving you a whole lot of heat.
Right. This is true, and we're gonna look at the entire documentary to kind of get a really good grasp of where she's going with this. But just in some of the things that she looked at, there was a lot of things that were visual. The whole rape type thing. I'm sorry. Let's back up, because we might get strike. We call grape.
Yeah,
okay.
Grape.
Let's call grape. And she made mention in terms of how that has been viewed. They made mention in terms of, the fact that the rate of death when it comes to workplace deaths, majority
of 93%, I think, is male.
Right. And so we do these dangerous jobs that can very well get you killed. You name it. Anything from building bridges to being high up on skyscrapers, to the fact that we work when it comes to electrical power. I mean, the power grids, you name it. Just being road workers can be subject to it, because somebody could literally veer off and hit somebody on the road when it comes to the road workers. So 93%, those deaths happen to us, and we go out there and do those jobs anyway. What else? They talked about the mere fact that fighting wars, we have to sign up for civil service. I think it's a civil service.
16.
18. Is it 16? I thought it was 18.
To register for the draft, at least. I had to get signed up by 16.
By 16, right? So once you do that, you're in a database that if we go to war, if we ever were to go to war again, I mean, honestly, I doubt we were ever to have a draft, but our number is picked first when it comes to men, right? Some of our fathers were drafted into the Vietnam War. That was the last drafted war, if I'm not mistaken, back in the 70s, right? Well, actually, it started in the 60s, but I think the draft happened late 60s, early 70s.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Go ahead.
Didn't you have a draft for Operation Desert Storm?
No, there was no draft for that.
No. Okay.
I think the last draft that we had that was mandatory was Vietnam. I don't think we had a draft for Korea. We might have had a draft for Korea, but there was a draft for Vietnam because you saw so many people that dodged it. You know what I'm saying? Case in point, the guy who became president, 45, he had bone spurs. To get him to not have to be a part of the draft and have to go over there to Vietnam. That type of thing. So, but we won't go there. They also went as far in terms of men and their children. What things that we have to go through regarding child support. We will get put in jail if we don't pay child support. I have a good friend of mine who went to jail for child support non-payment, and stayed there. And get this, in his case, you can stay there up to the point of whatever that child support payment is. It's like where rather than pay the payment, he stayed the equivalent in jail. It was like a thing where so much was owed, and it wasn't like, okay, because get this, when you go to jail, you can't make any money. If you had a job, what job is going to keep you long enough based on that happening? So I think the equivalent was he stayed in jail. Like, say the child support was, I don't know, he was behind $5,000, $10,000, whatever that $10,000 was. They gave him a certain amount of time. So he said, you're going to spend this many days or however many months in jail for this amount that you owe. He stayed the time for whatever that amount was. Okay, so go figure, right? And when he got out, of course, he lost his job. He had to go find another job, and he also had to be told, because that goes on your record. It is a record, is an offense. So getting another decent job is now going to be more difficult for you to then make these child support payments, right?
Right.
So I'm pretty sure she's going to go into that when it comes to her documentary. But all these things were part of the trailer, and it all made, if you really look at it, it made men look really bad in terms of the things that it said. So, I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Just based on it depicting us that way.
I don't know really the leaders and the creators of the feminist movement. What do they really want to accomplish from this? Because women are not being persecuted. Women are not being degraded. This is straight up an agenda to destroy men. There's no other way to it. Feminist movement hates men. And this is a clear-cut example of that. It's not going to bring families together. It's not going to unite minds, feminism. And it's really a way of just bullying men now. Is going to destroy, and I think that's probably what they want, to destroy the semblance of the family. That's my opinion. There's nothing positive coming out of this movie.
Okay, well, the whole process of what they're doing now, or what she is going to look into when it comes to, rights, I guess, the abilities that men have, the rights that they have, and the last part of what that lady said was, I think she said she doesn't hate men, but they just name everything they hate after men. I think that was the last thing that she made mention, that they don't hate men, but they name everything they hate or that's bad after men.
Yeah. Basically coming up with a verbal salad. That's typical deflection.
Typical. It would be. And the mere fact that there are so many things that are said now regarding men, and the fact that they're saying a lot more that we have it good, we've had it great, we've had it the better half of all of the time that we've been in existence, that we've always had it good. But I mean, we as black men have never had that ability. As much as there are those who say that we are, when it comes to pecking order, we're somewhere in that vicinity. White men, white women, black men. I mean, we're that type of thing. But we're still getting the worst of it in so many different avenues when it comes to just policing alone. We can talk about that all day when it comes to the fact that we have to be so much more aware of a police stop. Any sudden movement could literally end our life.
Yeah.
When it comes to doing that. So the mere fact that we have to have the talk with our sons, there was something that happened some time ago regarding having this talk with our black young men and saying no sudden movements. You know what I'm saying? You put your hands at 10 and 20. You basically, yes sir, no sir, be polite, do all the things because your objective is to come back home. Okay? Doesn't matter what you were stopped about. Doesn't matter if you got a ticket. Doesn't matter if they were in the wrong. Your mission is to come back home. So do comply. And in some cases, even complying doesn't work. Philando Castile, my God. I mean, he complied with every instance of what that officer told him to, even warned him, told him that he had a firearm, and he still lost his life. And that one right there hurts my heart more than anything regarding
whatever came of that case.
What do you mean?
What has come of it?
The officer was cleared. The officer was cleared of any wrongdoing. Okay, so, and we won't go into that right now because we're talking more about, you know, this particular trailer, but we will eventually start talking about those types of things, policing when it comes to us as black men, us as Gen Xers, what we've gone through over the years when it comes to policing. But today we're just talking about this trailer and what it provides us when it comes to the documentary, the Red Pill documentary that we'll also review eventually, and have a good idea of where this, and she's a white woman who decided to go into this avenue of, as she said it, I want to go see what the enemy, she called us the enemy, right? And as a result of already having that negative connotation towards us, we are the enemy, then there's something that you could look at and say, already we've become that what you hate, and already we are, the animosity towards us is there, and if you don't do anything about it, then we're going to cancel you. We're going to when it comes to child support, put you in jail. When it comes to, you know, allegations in the ape allegations, we'll also put you in jail for a good long time, in terms of sometimes the rest of your life. Yeah. And so she's going to find out, okay, what are going to be these things, majority of them being derogatory, that she's going to look into. And I think she thought she would prove them all, and as a result of the movie, I think she, well, if I'm not mistaken, she got a shock to know that there was some things that she actually felt for them on, as opposed to them being just the enemy.
Yeah. They called some of that in her TED Talk.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. So we're going to leave it at that, but we're going to look to review the entire documentary, and we want to see where she goes with it, what she learned, what she understood, that before and after, because there's probably some things that she thought was going to be the case, and there's probably going to be some things that she's going to be, I think, educated on, and say, well, you know, I need to see this from the other side, from our side, from our point of view. Right? So, and we'll talk about it. We'll talk about a lot of the instances that come about after we review the actual documentary, which we will do, by the way, our Gen X audience. We'll do that within the next week. So, we anything else you want to talk about before we end this, Tel?
No, you covered it. I don't want to give any more because I know more insight to it. Speech on the TED Talk. The only thing I haven't seen is the documentary itself. So. Okay, cool. All right, stay tuned. Oh, well, thank you again for joining us here on the Gen X Gentleman podcast. We appreciate you. We thank you for just allowing us to spend some time. Please do us a favor, if you would, like, subscribe, share, save, do all those things so we can get our numbers up. We would greatly appreciate it. And if you like this content, even if you don't like it, make a comment down below. Let us know that what we're doing right and or wrong, you know,
All right, and we'll want to improve upon this every chance we get. Depending on some of the things that we're going to talk about, we appreciate your opinion, and we'd like you to come back and join us, because we will be having more discussions in this subject matter, and we'll pretty much go from there. All right.
All right.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll put this in the books. We thank you again, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care. My name is JB. That's Tell, and we are your Gen X gentlemen. Have a good evening.
Good night.